Good evening, everybody. I was hesitating before saying good evening. I want to make sure that in Czech Republic, it's the evening, difference of time. So, good evening. Thank you for communicate with me today. As you probably know, our topic today is the topic of the future. Today, we'll talk about Vernix caseosa. Until now, most of you heard about Vernix caseosa, but if you just read textbook, you read that Vernix caseosa is specifically human. Only human beings are born with their body covered with a cream like cheese called Vernix caseosa. And it has no function. That was the common belief until recently. Suddenly, in the 21st century, it's another matter. First, we are learning that human beings are not the only mammals born with their skin covered with Vernix caseosa. And on the other hand, we are starting to understand that Vernix caseosa has probably important function we have not anticipated until now. So first, let's clarify that human beings are not the only mammals born with their skin covered with Vernix caseosa. Even our close cousin, the chimpanzee, genetically speaking, we are chimpanzees, but even chimpanzee babies are not born with their skin covered with Vernix caseosa. So we should say no mammal are like human beings from this perspective. And on the other hand, it has no function. So no interest, nothing, no interest. Why is it suddenly new? Because there is a general rule. When a trait, a characteristic, is apparently specifically human, as is not shared in particular with other members of the chimpanzee family, in general, it means a common point with some sea mammals. That's the first important point. And this is the case. We have learned recently that some sea mammals, particularly seals and sea lions, are born with their skin covered with this cream like cheese, exactly similar, perfectly similar to the cream covering the skin of a human baby. That's new. And it means that we can go further. Since some babies of marine mammals are born with their skin covered with this cream, we can learn about some functions of this cream. Until now, we used to say it's useless. Can wipe the cream, forget it, useless. Today, we are understanding that Vernix caseosa probably play important roles in the way the gut flora is established, even at the end of fetal life. And well, at a time when we realize the importance of the gut flora. Today, we understand that there are interactions between the gut flora and brain functions. Important means gut flora is important for behavior, personality trait, emotional state, health in general, mental health in particular. And it's bidirectional. It means that the brain has effect on gut functions. So you are suddenly at that stage. So it's worth suddenly to clarify what we know about the Vernix caseosa of sea mammals, particularly those that have been well studied, I mean sea lions. Many functions, but one is particularly important. It is that we understand today that at the end of fetal life, the gut flora is separating from the skin of the fetus, swimming gut flora, particles of gut flora are in the amniotic fluid, and the fetus is swallowing these particles of Vernix caseosa. We already knew that among humans, there is a phase of fetal life with maximum of skin covered with Vernix. After that, it's decreasing. Vernix is particles in the amniotic fluid. It's exactly now, suddenly, we realize by learning from sea lions, who could expect that in the past, that Vernix caseosa probably play an important role in the way the gut flora is established at the beginning of life. The fetus is swallowing particles of Vernix caseosa that contain, in particular, I don't want to give details, brand BR and D fatty acid, which are important for establishing the gut flora, and so on and so on. So this is just to say that suddenly we are learning two important points when referring to the Vernix caseosa. It's a trait shared with the sea mammals, and on the other hand, probably it plays an important role in the way the gut flora start to be established at the end of fetal life. And we are at the time also when suddenly we realize the importance of the gut flora. And how it is established at the beginning of life, for example, many studies have reached the same result, that autistic children have a disturbed gut flora, confirming the importance of the gut flora in brain function and so on. So the one reason why I found so important to introduce this topic is that it's a topic of the future. At the present time, you can perhaps, it's almost premature to talk about that. You can wait, the topic will come back. But because I'm now 95, I cannot wait. I think I cannot wait. I have to talk about that now. Of course, it's just a small part of a big question. For example, when we talk about how the gut flora is established, an important topic. at the present time, we have also to emphasize that it depends upon the first microbes that the newborn baby will swallow immediately after birth. So it depends of an important factor: where is the baby born? From a bacteriological point of view, the question is the baby born in a familiar and therefore friendly bacteriological environment? Familiar microorganisms are friendly and they cross the placenta. So that's the question, is a related question. And so originally women were giving birth in a familiar place, among great diversity of familiar microbes. They were giving birth where they were living, and they were swallowing immediately these familiar microbes, whose function, one of their functions immediately, was to start educating the immune system. Once more, we are in the field of health. So this is my way to summarize very, very briefly, confessing that premature to say more, although we might say more already now, but it's premature. I want just to focus, to emphasize that important topic of tomorrow, how the topic of this cream, Vernix caseosa, that's covering the skin of newborn babies born at term. A topic that was ignored until recently. When I think of textbook of obstetrics published in the 20th century, when I was a medical student, there was two lines about Vernix caseosa. Today, I don't want to do it. I might talk during a day about this topic. So many things to say. I just tried to summarize. Forget what I said, but remember that it's probably an important topic of the future. Thank you for listening to me.